Hello, I can't see the chat. Also, I need to fix. Okay, I turned my audio up. I had it was still down from when I had it the other day. Hey everybody, I'm trying to fix the chat. I think you can all see yourselves, which I'm glad about. Hold on. Give me a second. Like it loaded, but it loaded in light mode. But then the font color was still from dark mode. So I'm just seeing white text on a white background. So y'all could be saying anything right now. And I would be none the wiser. Okay, hold on. Bro. Don't piss me off. Okay, I'm going to close this. And I'm going to try one more time. Because I am no quitter. Okay, take two. Oh my god, it did it again, man. I can't read none of y'all's comments. Hold on, chat. Sorry, give me a second. Like, this is so stupid. I don't understand. Why? Here, I'll show you what I'm seeing right now. Hold on. So yeah, you could imagine that's not very useful for me at all. What the helly? Okay, third time's a charm? Question mark? Closing this one more time so you can pay me to fix it. I would if I could in the short term. Let's see. Okay. Nah, just it literally keeps doing it. I think I'm just gonna have to, as much as I really don't want to do this, I'm just gonna have to open it in another tab or something. /live. I hate going to my channel like this. It's so cringe. Okay. Pop out chat. Okay, great. I popped that out. Now if I could just close this other monitor. There we go. I just went there in the browser chat. Now I can see you all. I literally have no idea what is happening or why that was the case, but don't worry, I can still ban all of you from this interface as well, which is all that matters to me. No, just kidding. I want to be able to see you. Anyways, hey everybody, we're back. We had cringe technical difficulties as always, but yes, the IT stream is over. We're here to talk about BTS. If this is your first time joining us live stream or one of my live streams, hi and welcome. The way it goes is essentially the first 30 minutes or so are exactly what you're getting right now. I mean, not just technical difficulties. It's usually just a yap session. I literally talk about anything and everything. And then around the 30-minute mark, that's when we get into the topic of the day. Today we'll be talking, I have a lot of opinions about BTS's very recent decision to boycott the Grammys, actually, and withdraw their music from consideration, citing their reasons why, and this whole discourse it sparked about the Grammys' new Asian pop music category, which is every bit as sus as it sounds. So yeah, I actually am very excited to talk about this because I'm like, what do you mean we're gonna take literally 60% of the world's population and shove them under the category Asian pop? That way we can justify not actually awarding them on the main stage. I don't know about that one, but it sure is in line with a lot of the Grammys' history of just the most bafflingly and obvious racist, xenophobic, cringe, stupid decisions ever. So, yeah. Someone said, didn't the Country Music Awards do the same thing to Beyonce? The Grammys did the same thing to Beyonce. Yes, the Country Music Awards was very, very racist towards her, but the Grammys also changed their award category after Beyonce won, to where the award she won no longer exists. And it got split into two things months after she became the first Black woman to win Best Country Album. And it's like, these are the kinds of things that people are asking us to ignore just to say, oh, BTS isn't winning because they're mid. No, that's not true. That's not really informed view on the reality of what the Grammys has been over the past everything. So I just wanted to talk about that because I personally, I feel like an army right now. Not really. I'm like, BTS is right. BTS is right, and it's very clear and obvious, and I think I can point that out in an objective way. As somebody who's not even really like a fan. Someone said that's so sleazy of them. Yeah, I really don't like them for that. Someone said, didn't they also introduce a Latin category after Bad Bunny won? They already had a lot of Latin categories, and they've introduced a few others after that, yes. But already, even the category of quote-unquote Latin music gets a lot of pushback from people making music in Spanish or across the various like Latin genres and saying like, well, that's crazy because you're excluding regional Mexican music. This year we're excluding reggaeton and all this stuff. So like, the Grammys is terrible at this. They're just horrific. And then the CEO put out a statement and it was trash. But then, of course, you had a few people on Reddit being like, no, he's right. And BTS is wrong. And I'm just like, never change Reddit. So yeah, as you see, there's just like, it's Pandora's box of garbage, which I am both excited and not excited to get into today. Some say the Grammys are evil. Yeah, they're pretty bad, bro. They're pretty bad. Someone said, I feel like Tyler the Creator talks about similar issues. We're going to talk about Tyler the Creator today. Actually, we're going to talk a lot about Black artists in general, mostly because that's just easy for me to pull references from my memory. Tyler, Frank Ocean, India Ari, all this kind of stuff. We're going to talk about Adele, and who I don't believe did the wrong thing, and her like rough history with the Grammys awarding her over Beyonce and the discourse that followed, and Adele's sort of place in being a Grammys darling while still recognizing that the Grammys as an institution is extremely problematic and has double standards. I don't know, it's all just very interesting. And probably someone said they did the same for Best African Performance. They literally just love being xenophobic. And probably the biggest thing that I want to point out is that Best Asian Pop makes literally no sense because like it's so arbitrary. Like Olivia Rodrigo, should we limit all of her releases to Best Asian Pop because this is an Asian person? No, obviously no one's wanting to do that. And so, but you have this weird dichotomy where it's like, oh well, if you're American and you're making songs in English, we can accept that. The English language is literally the basis by which they exclude or accept music into this new Asian pop category. And so it's like, okay, so that doesn't make any sense because they're xenophobic. But then it's like, if it's purely a language thing, what about the fact that BTS makes music in multiple languages? Actually, probably the majority of Asian artists that I listen to personally make music in English and other languages. I listen to a lot of like Utada Hikaru, Fujikaze. Like this is all just really incredibly stupid, bro. Someone said, do you have any idea how little that narrows it down? Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Like, this is just bad. It's bad optics, and BTS choosing to boycott, I personally believe, is the right thing and sends the right message for sure. Someone said, how do they not realize this sounds so racist in 2026? They just don't be caring. That's the craziest thing is clearly they don't care. They didn't run this by anybody. They weren't like, oh, I feel like everyone's going to hate that. No, they're like, full send it, baby. Full send it. But yeah, that's just a little taste. That's a little preview of what we're going to be talking about in approximately 16 minutes and 11 seconds from now. I have really sad news. I have incredibly sad news. It's not that big of a deal. I realize I say this and that makes it sound like someone died. No, this doesn't matter at all, but I'm still sad about it. I lost my running streak due to circumstances beyond my control. And I am really, really, really sad about it. I think usually there are not any circumstances that are actually beyond your control if you're a runner, unless you got sick or unless there was literally, it was a storm or something like that. And unfortunately, that is what happened to me. I run late at night because I always have very it works for me. I really, really enjoy running when it's dark, whether that's outside or on the treadmills. And unfortunately, where I live in North Carolina, we got this crazy storm that happened before the time that I would usually try to run, to where it wasn't even safe to be outside. It was torrential rain. There was like thunder, lightning, obviously. And I was just going to run inside on a treadmill, but the power went out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. Yes. Starting in the evening, we were literally without power for 7 hours. I was having to use, like, I'm being so for real right now, like an actual candle and like my phone flashlight to navigate around my apartment. So there was just, and also there were no street lights on anywhere around me because we all lost power. And it didn't come back on until literally the next day, early in the morning, when it was still dark outside. And so obviously I can't go run then. But yeah, I'm so sad. Look at this. Look, you can see my beautiful streak right here. Hold on, we'll go to like we need like a bigger one. We'll just do like 2026 in general. Okay, here we go. 59 days of running just got lost. It was like back to back to back to back to back every single day. And then this one little gray box right here where I could have just gone out and run earlier if I had known what was going to happen. But I literally didn't. I wasn't paying attention to the forecast. I didn't think like, oh yeah, obviously we're going to lose power. I never check the weather because if it's bad weather, I just run inside. But yeah, I was trying very, very hard to get to 100 days, and now I have to start over. And I'm like, but that's okay. Someone said Back to Back by Chili XCX. I love that song. And anytime I say back to back, I just think back to back to back to back to you. And so yeah, this just sucks, man. It's a little demoralizing. Like, I don't think I'm gonna, or I guess I'm still gonna hit my goal for the month, because my goal was that I wanted to run on average 6 miles a day every single day. And that's still true. Even with me skipping a day, because I've run so much this month, I've still run 6 miles a day on average. So as long as I get out today and tomorrow, that's still me running 6 miles a day on average every day this month, which is all I wanted. One day doesn't matter. But yeah, I was forced to take a rest day and I wasn't happy about it, but alas. Womp, 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 womp. Sad days. Oh, but then for every loss, there is a win. For every loss, there is a win. Something really cool happened to me on my fitness journey. A lot of you are going to laugh about this or just think that this is sad. I don't care. This is big news for me. I, at the big age of 27, did a full pull-up the other day. Only one. It was unassisted. It was like an actual pull-up. I'm not talking about a chin up with the reverse grip. Those are a lot easier. I'm literally love talking about like an actual just pull up from the bar. My shoulders was down. Okay, I wasn't doing no crazy stuff. My form was good. I literally had somebody spot me because I can't see myself while I'm working out. And I was like, was that a real actual pull up? And they were like, that was a real actual pull up, D'Angelo. So yeah. I'm getting so strong. Who can do one pull-up? Certainly not me a long time ago, because I wasn't strong enough to do that. So yay, after one comes two. Someone says that takes a lot of practice. It did take me a lot of practice. Thank you for recognizing. I had to do a bunch of things first. So first I was doing these like I don't know. I guess they're reverse rows, where or like they call it Australian pull-ups or whatever. Where basically it's called a TRX strap that's attached to the wall. TRX strap. Images. Okay, yeah. It's literally this right here. So like you're attached. Not you, but the thing is attached to the wall, and I basically. Oh, he's got stretched lobes. What gauge do you think he's at? That right there? That looks like maybe 7-8 millimeters. That's goals. I'm gonna get there someday. But anyways, I was flipped the other way. He's like leaning forward, but I was facing the anchor point, and so I was having to do like hella of those reverse rows, even though those were super boring. And then from there, I had to teach myself how to do pull up negatives, which is where you just kind of jump up to get above the bar, and then you just like lower yourself down. So I was doing that a bunch of times, and then the other day on a whim I was like, I think that I am now officially strong enough, and I just tried a single pull up, and I did it correctly. Yay, love that for me. Someone said I did a cartwheel the other day at 47. That it really makes you feel accomplished. I need to be you when I'm 47. I want to be mobile to the best of my ability, obviously. I want to still be able to like move around and do things for real. I mean, I'm acting like 47 is literally the crypt keeper. It's not, but for sure, the older I get, the more important it is for me to try to stay active. But anyways, yay. Someone said 6 miles a day is great, but please take a rest day. Bro, you don't need rest day. Oh, wait, that's bad advice. Bad advice incoming. Rest days come in many forms is what I was going to say, and you do need a rest day. I think for me the thing is like, even though I know this is going to sound like cope to a lot of you, it gets to a point where you can rest while still running, basically. And that's what I do on my rest days. I don't run very hard. It's like taking a walk on your rest day. You know what I mean? You get to a point where like running doesn't really elevate your heart rate that much. And that's basically my excuse for why I just run back to back to back to back to you. Anyways, enough about that. Someone says, I can't do 6 miles, but I normally do like 45 pull-ups, so I do upper body workout. That's crushing it. And you could get to 6 miles pretty easily. Well, no, not easily, but definitely doable. I feel like there's always this debate about like strength versus cardio. And I'm like, what about people like me? I just want to be both. I want to be my best. I want to be strong and fast to the best of my ability. Someone said, what does your stretching routine look like? Not as often as it should. That's what my stretching routine looks like. I mean, when I do actually remember to stretch, I don't know the names of any of the stretches I do. I do that one where you kneel on one knee and then you just kind of lean forward and like with your hands on your hips. I do like the figure fours where you like lean back and you have your feet up, like crossed kind of. I like to do downward dog. Such a good hamstring stretch. It's honestly crazy. Sorry, somebody around me is vacuuming. Don't worry about that. I like to do crab walks. Crab walks feel so great on the hamstrings. You'll notice it's a lot of hamstring stretches for me because that's usually the part of my body that's just mad at me the most. What else? Yeah, I don't really do too many. Oh, and then I have my dynamic stretches I do beforehand, of course. Some of those first ones are lunges. Yes, I like to do lunges for sure. And then I have to do a lot of like strength training stuff too for the legs. Because like if you're only just running and you're not doing anything else, that's really gonna suck for you. But yeah, don't worry. I know I just said I don't stretch as often as I should, and I'm never taking full rest days, but I promise you, I'm paying attention to my body. I really, really am. Oh, this is an interesting comment. I like that. Wait, we have 2 comments back to back that I want to read out loud. I really hope this isn't someone glazing BTS after all the Nazi stuff they have done. Immediately followed by, you don't have to be a BTS fan to respect what they did by boycotting the Grammys. I love the duality of the duality of humankind. Yeah, I'm trying to think of how to say this in a way that doesn't sound like I'm ignoring the obvious. First of all, I literally don't know what you're referring to. I literally promise you I have no idea what Nazi anything BTS could ever possibly be related to. But also, I promise you none of that has anything to do with anything I'm saying in today's live stream. BTS could literally be evil or also racist or whatever, and I'm still right about this. I think I ran into the same problem. I remember back when I made a video about Beyonce and the way that she was treated during the whole Country Music Awards thing, and I did actually get some pushback where people were like, people were literally like, oh my gosh, this is a crazy time to defend Beyonce when her husband is out here dealing with these Diddy allegations. And I was like, y'all, it wasn't everybody. It was literally a minority of people. But I was like, y'all think that I'm just such a closet Diddy supporter that I was like, I know the best way to let people know that secretly. Calling the Country Music Awards racist because they were being racist towards Beyonce. I feel like low-key people's ability to hold space for multiple things being true, we're at different parts in our journey with that, clearly. And like at the end of the day, if the end result is basically you saying, I don't think you should talk about this racism that's happening because we don't like the people involved, even though that's not what that person said, I'm just saying that's how it always comes out. I just don't think that's a valid argument. I really, really don't think it's a valid argument. Like, racists can experience racism, problematic billionaires as well. I've never bought into this argument that you can be bad enough to the point where we should ignore when society's doing the society thing, I guess. But yeah, that's my take on that. I hope that clears things up for some people. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, already not talking about BTS specifically, but like even me engaging with K-pop at all, I'm already ignoring so much racism, to be honest. To be quite honest with you, I'm very much used to it. And when I say ignoring, I don't mean that I don't see it. I just mean like we would just be here all day. Honestly, at this point, I don't even have the energy or desire to couch all of my statements in, yes, I believe it's important to point out xenophobia and anti-Asian racism, but also a lot of the people I'm talking about are anti-black as hell and doing obvious and blatant cultural appropriation and sometimes even like blackface. And I want to cry, but like we're all adults here. Big people, big boys, big girls, big people with big brains that can hold space for multiple thoughts simultaneously, and this is just a case of me doing that because yeah, you could just play this game for everything. I just at the end of the day, I don't think these things are a game. I just like everything I've ever talked about in a positive light, I can also easily turn around and point out, probably with more emphatic arguments, why it's actually problematic. And I just want to talk about, bro, I just want to drag the Grammys. I just want to drag the Grammys, bro. Let me do it. Cause they some nasty, they're some horrible people. They're some awful people. So let me use BTS to drag the Grammys. That's not an act of ignoring any problems that may or may not exist with the band. Or at least that's how I feel. That's me, personally. Reading a lot of chat. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there a lot of mixed opinions on this for sure. And I just believe there is literally always space to talk about this. Like, I won't stop you from doing that, but also I just don't want that to be talking over the things I'm trying to talk about today, which also exist and are real and annoying as well. Really, really, really. Someone says, so you're literally being so chill about this. Yeah, I'm not crashing out. I do feel like sometimes when you get a lot of things in chat, and then I say, well, no, actually, then sometimes people are like, oh god, he's crashing out, but like, I have crashed out before. But what y'all don't know about me is I actually become calmer. I usually become calmer in reference to my chat popping off. No one can forget. We're not here to talk about it today, but no one can forget the vegan incident. I actually think I handled myself really well during that time. I'm not saying that makes me right. I don't really know if I was, but I think I had one example of everybody in chat was like, no, baby. And I was like, well, I don't know. And I didn't crash out. Nobody was able to clip that and be like, D'Angelo is crying on stream because of veganism. That was a time though. That was crazy. But also like, I feel like low-key, I feel like we need to get better. We, as in like literally all of us, including me, need to get better at like accepting just disagreement. I know for sure like the internet is so like reactionary, and I'm literally a reactionary. But like I noticed this in my real my computer just beeped and I don't know why. I noticed this in my real life too, of like even gently disagreeing. Sometimes people get like scared that you're dragging them or whatever, and it's like, no, I just literally have a different opinion. Like I don't know. I'm not gonna jump you, or maybe I will, but not over that one. So I love that stream. It was great, and I'm proud of myself forever. That's when I really learned, like, okay, I can handle myself. Would I have said exactly what I said on that stream if I had known it was going to go down that way? No, I really wouldn't have. But I learned some things from that for sure. So yeah, I think the best thing to do is just acknowledge again that so many things are true. Like it's not a cop out. It's not a cop out. K-pop is problematic, and then when you say that, people are like, okay, but other music genres are problematic, and that's true too. So many things are true. It's wild, man. reading chat. Someone says, people think you can't change your opinion once you learn new information, which is the whole point of having opinions. Yeah, no, like we should all be disagreeing with each other on some things for sure. Actually, I'm beyond time. Okay, hold on a second. I want to talk about this though. Because as you know, I'm still working on this whole Love Island video, but this isn't about Love Island, it's about relationships. I'm pretty sure I've brought up this hot take on stream before, but one of the things I strongly believe is there's literally no reason to ever get into a fight with your partner, ever. Actually, the reason I say it's a hot take is because society, at least in my experience, literally tells you, oh, we're not partners, by the way. I just realized I jumped immediately to romantic relationships. How parasocial of me, but I've been thinking about romance and a lot. That writing a Love Island video will do that to you. But anyways, like society literally tells you that like you should be fighting with your partner. That's healthy. And that if you and your partner are not having fights or even arguments, then you're not actually talking about things and you're not communicating them. And I've always just believed that to be a lie. That's not true that you have to have fights or even arguments, because I just think the word that you're looking for is disagreement, and it's not the same thing as a fight. It's not even the same thing as an argument. Yeah, obviously I believe two people together should definitely be having disagreements. They're not the same person, they don't have the same brain or whatever, but there is just not a real reason why those disagreements have to come out as like all of the baggage that's associated with like fighting and arguing and this, that, the other. Like I've been in relationships where I've fairly strongly disagreed with some things that like a partner was saying, and I was just kind of like, that's interesting. But like we can talk it out though in a way that's not fighting or arguing. I think usually what I need when somebody says something that I don't agree with, I just need them to get me to a point where I understand where they're coming from, and then I can let it go. I don't actually need them to agree with me. So like if I say, oh, I liked that movie, and somebody's like, actually, wow, I hated that movie, I'm like, let's not fight. I just Why did you hate that, right? And then they explain, and I'm like, oh, okay. And maybe I might even be like, wow, I kind of think less of it a little bit. Or I'm just like, oh, that's just not what I thought about it. But I can see where you're coming from, type B. But yeah, like, I feel so passive. even though I'm usually, I don't know, I'm on the internet being inflammatory and stuff, but I also just feel like a pretty passive kind of guy. And I want more of that on the internet. Like, as long as we ain't talking about the things that actually matter. Let's just disagree. It's okay. It's all right. Someone says learning to not be so defensive or reactive to disagreements is definitely a process. Yeah, no, like, because usually people aren't saying anything about like you specifically. I try to tell that to a lot of my creator friends too, because they ask me like, how do I deal with this? Or I'm getting comments that say that, and I'm just like, low-key, don't worry about it. like if you get a comment and somebody really strongly disagrees with what you did, see if there's something for you to learn from, because there usually is. Now hold on a second. There usually is. In this world where people call you wrong about something, as long as, again, they're not trying to say you're wrong for saying racism exists or whatever. I'm talking about just little things like that. Sometimes there are things for you to learn. And a lot of times I've had people disagree with me, and that sparked a learning journey for me, for sure. But like, after you take whatever it is that's going to help you grow as a person, you can just throw away the rest of the comment. You can just throw away the rest of it. You don't have to be mad. Why be sad? Why be mad when you can be glad? All right, that's all I gotta say about that. I love disagreeing with people. It's one of my favorite hobbies. I learned so much, and it doesn't make me mad. Anyways, okay. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start. But yeah, okay, I guess before I hit record, I'm gonna ask you this, because I feel like this is a fair ask. This is a fair ask in my opinion. Can we, in the interest of staying on topic, save the criticism of BTS and HYBE and K-pop and all of these other organizations for just a little later? Just so it's not a case where I'm constantly like, oh, BTS also did this, or K-pop also did that. Because again, like, that's going to be a long stream. And you and I agree with each other. I promise you, we agree with each other. Someone said, can we all stand Luna? Yeah, and also, like, none of this would have happened if you had stand Luna in the first place. So I'm hitting. Someone said, good luck with that. It's okay. We're doing our best, babes. Why did I say babes? Am I British now? No, I'm not. I'm gonna hit record. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I hit start recording. Let's go. Let's go. Sometimes I wouldn't trust the scammies. All right, everybody say hello. Say hello. So I think it'll keep things organized. It'll just make my job a little bit easier. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Well, one of the biggest bands in the world just boycotted one of the biggest awards ceremonies in the world. BTS said no to the Grammys, actually after years of saying that receiving a Grammy would have been a big goal for them. And the reasons that they're citing are getting into the heart of this discourse over a new rule change that many are calling xenophobic, racist, etc. Stupid. And I think I'm here to basically agree with all of that. Yes. And like, I guess if this was coming from anyone else other than the Grammys, maybe I could like tilt my head and try to see this from their perspective. But as you're going to see throughout this video, these are the last people we should be giving the benefit of the doubt, bro. The Grammys, they just suck. This is just their latest evolution of that. All right. We've got it. All right. No more highs. Let's get into it. Only lows. Just kidding. That's sad. No highs, no lows. Let's get into it. So I'm not even going to do a, for those of you who don't know, type beat. Is BTS. We know. They are the 7-piece K-pop act that has caused all of this discourse. Even though actually I would say it's the Grammys who have caused the discourse. They're the ones who messed up here. And the Grammys, of course, I think they're currently branding themselves as like Our mission is to uplift and protect music creators everywhere. We champion artistic excellence, advocate for creative rights, and build opportunities for those shaping the sound of today and tomorrow. Unless they're Asian or singing in a different language than English. But okay, let's see. Through community, education, and recognition, we strengthen the future of music, they say. Sure thing, buddy. All right, and then moving into this. So just a little bit of info on the timeline of this. BTS is recently going through their comeback phase. They released their album Arirang, which was a huge deal because they were all gone for a while and everybody's like, ah, but then they came back and everyone was like, ah, even louder. Arirang was a huge commercial success worldwide, debuting #1 in over 25 countries. One of the best-selling albums of 2026, broke streaming records, etc. Their seventh #1 album here in the United States, right? And like, again, it's the BTS thing. This is what they do. Pulling this right here. But BTS say no to the 2027 Grammys. All 7 members posted on their personal social media accounts a joint statement saying, "We have decided not to submit for Grammy consideration this year." This is actually a withdrawal in this case. "We hope our music can be heard and loved for what it is, rather than being divided by region or language. We thank ARMY, our fan base, and everyone who has always stood by us," they add. Very short, very succinct. Now, the thing about BTS is they're not like inflammatory people in the sense of like they're constantly saying things that are stoking the fire. You have to read between the lines a lot. I am interpreting this personally as y'all are xenophobic and racist. This is my interpretation. We hope our music can be heard and loved for what it is, rather than being divided by region or language. Obviously, dividing things out by region and refusing to engage with them for what they actually are is an act of xenophobia. And placing this in the context of the Grammys' long history of these exact same practices, I think the shoe fits. Pulling this. Someone said K-pop statements are hella vague. Yeah, for a K-pop statement, this is surprisingly direct. And what are they referring to exactly? Why? What motivated them to do this? It's pretty obvious. They're reacting to the Grammys' recent introduction of the Best Asian Pop Music category. So, for those maybe not in the know, the Grammys has, best pop vocal, best pop duo, this, that, the other. There's a few Latin categories, which we're going to be talking about as well. And now, also, as of just a few weeks ago, we have Best Asian Pop Music, which quite obviously BTS would have been a shoo-in for. And that seems to be what they're like, maybe don't give us that Grammy. Let's see. Pulling this right here. This article from Fader kind of breaks it down a little bit. Pop music coming out of Asia is gaining more traction in the US every year, but it has yet to receive any outstanding recognition at the Grammys. And in an attempt to seemingly rectify that, the Recording Academy announced Best Asian Pop Music Performance, among 4 other new award categories taking the stage at the 2027 Grammy Awards in February. According to the Academy, it will recognize quote-unquote Asian pop, including but not limited to K-pop, J-pop, and C-pop with, quote, meaningful use of one or more Asian languages. Which, like, so many thoughts, so many opinions, but let's just keep going. It joins other new categories: Best R&B Collab, or Best Traditional Pop Vocal Performance, etc., Best Latin Song. Funny how Latin and R&B are both categories that get a lot of flack too because of similar reasons, but let's take a look specifically at what they said qualifies you for this Best Asian Pop Performance and why this whole thing is just like a sad, confusing band-aid on a problem that they are completely unwilling to fix. Someone said, what's C-pop? I believe that would just be Chinese pop music, unless, or like, yeah, I think I'm right about that. That's something that I'm like, I really should listen to some, because I actually am not familiar with that genre at all. Yeah. There's a whole world out there, bro. There's a whole world out there. I should educate myself on it for real. But yeah, that's what C-pop is for those who don't know. So the Grammys says, because of course they're trying to make this sound like it's a good thing actually, Asian pop is a distinct and globally recognized form of popular music characterized by its integrated approach to music performance and presentation. Eligible recordings typically feature melody-driven composition, mainstream pop songwriting, and commercially oriented production. Okay, I guess I see what they're describing. It sounds more like they're talking about like kind of music that I would say is related to idols, right? Because the thing is, like, there's a lot of Asian pop music that also does not fit the description of being integrated into music performance and presentation and all of this stuff, being commercially oriented. There's such a big world out there beyond the kinds of things that people traditionally associate with like K-pop, but that's fine. As recognized within their respective markets, and may incorporate elements of pop adjacent styles such as pop rock, pop R&B, and other related forms. It says, okay, so they're talking about like the genre bend, etc. They're meant to sound good whether you're performing on the radio or performing it live. Recordings must feature meaningful use of one or more Asian languages. An Asian language should play a significant role within the song in bilingual or multilingual structures such that the recording is identifiable with that language. Recordings performed entirely in an Asian language are eligible. Incidental or minimal use, aka isolated words, ad-libs, or brief phrases, does not qualify. Recordings performed entirely in English are not eligible. That is crazy, actually. And they remain eligible in other appropriate categories. Someone in chat says equal but separate or whatever. It's very much giving not equal, or it's very much giving that energy. Okay, hold on. This is so stupid for so many reasons. I guess before I get to any of this, I have to point out the biggest elephant in the room. Y'all, so much K-pop is in English. This isn't only about K-pop, obviously. By labeling it Asian music, you're referencing so many different things. But since we're talking about BTS specifically, I will stick with the realm of K-pop. Like, literally, just song after song after song is entirely recorded in English. How would these somehow not be eligible for the quote Asian pop music category? It's a stupid category when you literally have people making playlists after playlists, bands that are known, entire groups that are known for their English songs, etc. So that's stupid in and of itself. And if I was to kind of, someone said that's segregation. It's very much giving segregation. If I was to like kind of expand beyond just thinking about K-pop, thinking about some artists I actually listen to, who I think would technically start falling under this Asian pop music category. We've got the incomparable Utada, right? They released a lot of music in both languages. So, like, what does that mean? Are they sometimes Asian pop and sometimes not because of the ratio of words that they were using on the track? That doesn't really make any sense. And I would say the same thing for Fujikaze, who has like mostly Japanese music, but then also an entire English album. Again, does Prema not equal Asian pop despite being created by an Asian person? This is just so stupid, bro. It's so stupid. Also, I realize my arguments are getting more and more out of whack here, but like, I want to pull this up right here because I have to ask about this. Okay, great. If you're like, D'Angelo, this comparison doesn't make any sense, let me know. But my mind immediately went to like, oh, y'all are just trying to say non-American really, really, really bad, honestly. And in doing so, you've come up with a label that doesn't make sense because it doesn't meaningfully incorporate the sum total of pop music coming from overseas or anything like that. When I think about the fact that there are a lot of Asian pop stars that would never even be considered getting shoehorned in this category, like Olivia Rodrigo, for example, she is an Asian person, but also is American. So it's like, we're not going to have to throw her in the Asian pop box. It's fine because she's singing in English, but God forbid BTS also release pop music, but be from Korea. Like, this is actually just really, really whack to me, honestly. Someone said, isn't BTS's latest album or song also in English? They have a lot of English music, and I guess what the Recording Academy is arguing here is that that music is still eligible for the other categories, but we're going to get into in a second why I still think that that's a cop-out on their part. Pulling this right here. I'm just doing basic research on Orod over here. It's not as if she isn't open about her heritage and what it means to her. Looking in the camera during an Asian Pacific American Heritage Month campaign on Disney Channel and saying, I am an Asian Pacific Islander. I just think this is so weird to like separate people out on a country by country, language by language basis, while also just trying to keep some of them over here. Like, this sucks. And I also want to pull this over here. And before I get like Olivia Rodrigo fans just trying to snipe me from 300 yards away, I'm not saying she doesn't deserve her Grammys. I just think, again, the Grammys themselves have purposely created an environment in which every single action is some sort of double standard depending on who is recording what. And I really hate it because I don't think any of the artists involved want that for themselves either. Reading chat. Someone says, why not just make an international category? But that wouldn't make sense because so many artists are British. Yeah, no. Well, okay. Hold on. Let's get into that. The truth of the matter is, frankly, because so many British artists are white. Now, that's not all of them. And I am not trying to label all of Britain's musical exports into white people. There's actually so many diverse people making music. My point is, like, it is incredible how quickly we are drawing lines in the sand depending on what certain groups of people are looking like. In fact, I would like to bring up Adele really fast because she kind of came to my mind too. Pulling. Oh my god, where's Adele in my outline? I have a lot of links in my outline right now, and I am missing. Okay, wait, we have the xenophobia. Sorry, chat, give me a second. This is one of my denser outlines because I'm kind of mad about this a lot, and I've been wanting to complain about this for a while. Let me just control F. I've never had to control F my own outline right here. Oh, here we go. Okay, I found it. Yeah, even Grammy darlings at this point are aware that the Grammys is completely busted. Adele herself is the recipient of 16 Grammy Awards, which is crazy. I understand why, obviously, listening to her music, but I just do find it kind of baffling that, like, despite Wikipedia literally labeling her a British cultural icon, we're not shoehorning Adele and her peers into the category of, oh, this is British pop. this is English pop, just specifically because it is being sung in English. It's acceptable in the main categories. I don't know if I buy this having literally nothing to do with racism at all. Also, can I talk about Adele for a second though? Because I actually low-key appreciate her a lot for this. She, at least from my perspective, is very, very aware of, again, these double standards, and they seem to frustrate her a lot. Let's see. Pulling this right here. I remember, I actually remember this because I'm old, but back when Adele won over Beyonce, which, say what you will about Lemonade or who quote unquote should have won, clearly, obviously, Adele just felt like that something about that was off. And she said, my view is like, what the F does Beyonce have to do to win album of the year? The Grammys are very traditional, but I just thought this would be the year that they would kind of go with the tide. Of course, saying she was very grateful for having won, but that she feels that Academy voters made the wrong decision. And obviously, like, pulling this right here on Beyonce. To be clear, Beyonce has the most Grammys out of any human being, so it's not exactly like she's hurting for awards. But again, I just think it would be kind of goofy to ignore all of this context. We're going to talk about later how even Beyonce winds up catching unintended smoke, or maybe intended, from the Grammys due to their rule changes and their long-standing efforts to continually segregate their audiences out further and further and further. Pulling this out the other. And speaking of Beyonce, Adele, black artists, before I kind of get back into this Asian pop music topic, I kind of want to talk about the Grammys and black music because it's easier, I guess, or I have a lot of examples of them going wrong with this. Actually, in every single case of the Grammys interacting with or attempting to appreciate or champion black art, it's just come out in the form of them being hella racist. First of all, one thing I would like to point out, pulling right here, is we already have like double standards for black artists versus white artists. Jasmine Sullivan, for example, R&B singer, and yes, a Grammy winner, absolutely. But like she, along with trying to pull this, K Michelle, another singer, kind of pointed out, talking about Adele in a way that is not actually dragging her. Just, it's interesting who gets to be world famous singing soul music. I have this kind of I have this article from Mike saying Jasmine Sullivan says it's an injustice black artists don't enjoy Adele's level of success. White artists selling better than black artists is an endemic and an unfortunate reality in music. In 2013, not a single black artist topped the Hot 100. That was very recent, chat. Though all the white artists that did utilize historically black styles of music. Adele borrowed heavily from R&B and soul to do the same in 2015, singing what critics have labeled quote-unquote blue-eyed soul, which is a crazy term for so many reasons. Back in January, up here. Oh, here we go. Back in January, R&B singer K Michelle echoed some of Jasmine Sullivan's comments, arguing that if Adele was black, no one would be checking out her music. And I know this sounds inflammatory, but I need y'all to sit here with me with this for a second. Hello? That's some BS. Sorry. It's a great song, great artist, but if a black girl was to sing that very song, it would not get played on the radio. I think the thing is, the Grammys reinforce cultural ideas all the time. And there are cultural ideas that when black people perform black music, it's not worthy of any sort of accolade. It's not worthy of, respect or even being considered real music. God forbid somebody says rap is actual music or whatever. The Grammys turn around and do the same thing when they introduce urban categories, and they introduce a lot of, we'll get into the urbanness of it all. The segregation is reinforced on an awards level. It's reinforced on a sales level of whose music is getting promoted, etc. And like, I'm going to cut this part out of my video because now we're getting too complex, and I'm also breaking my own rule here, because I just said I mostly want to not be criticizing K-pop. I'm trying to defend it in this one instance, but I would like to say this. K-pop is the same thing for a lot of y'all, where it's just It's just non-black people performing historically black genres of music poorly a lot of times. I'm not going to lie to you. Horrible usages of AAVE. Just sounded dumb as hell. And everybody eating it up because, yes, finally, we have people doing this who are not black, which is like simultaneously anti-black. And also, in my opinion, that's like fetishization of Asian people as well. I think you are simultaneously being racist even towards the people that you're listening to. So like this whole worldwide phenomenon of y'all just never want to hear black music, or except if we're not the one singing it. Otherwise, in that case, no, this should actually be chart topping. No, I'm going to make this mine. Y'all is not slick. And then obviously there are literally a bunch of black fans in the K-pop fan base. I'm not saying everybody who does this is being nefarious. At the end of the day, if BTS comes on the radio and you're like, this is a bop, I don't think you are actively participating in, you know what I mean, racism. That's literally not my point. I just think my point is, again, cultural attitudes get reflected on a micro level, literally all the time. And it pisses me off. Somebody asked what AAVE is. African American Vernacular English. Basically, I wouldn't just say black slang. It's a little more complex than that, but black slang is the easy way of thinking about that. Yeah, anytime you hear somebody is unk, chopped, you know what I mean? If something was lit, you know, if something was, God, there's just so much, and it's been integrated, appropriated so completely at this point. Even I sometimes forget what actually came from where. But yeah, no, there's just so many layers to this, and I'm gonna get back on track in a second, I promise. I really am gonna get back on track. I'm not comparing struggles at all. That's not literally my point of like, oh, we have it harder, we have it easier. I just want to say it's a little annoying going through this entire process and then thinking about how hilariously, and by hilarious, it's not funny at all, underneath this level of obvious xenophobia and anti-Asian racism is also a bunch of anti-blackness. It's like, save me, save me. I'm so tired of catching strays. I'm tired of these strays. Literally, stop it. We wouldn't be catching strays if nobody was firing at in the first place. Stop being racist to everybody, but also like the actual soul fatigue of me just being like, oh, and also this is pretty much also just because. Nah, man, it pisses me off. But yeah, I'm probably cutting out my little rant about K-pop and AAVE because it's literally not the point I'm trying to argue today. That would be the topic for another time. Some say it's like an onion, it's layers. Yeah, there's literal layers. Anyways, getting back on track with that. So we kind of talked about Adele, how she's not considered to be British pop, which is crazy. One thing that I would also like to point out, someone says, people trying to coin AAVE as Gen Z slang is so mind-boggling. Bro, it's getting worse. Anyways, back on track, he said back on track. One thing I would like to point out that is absolutely true. Regardless of your stance on BTS, you like their music, you don't like their music. You like the things they do, you don't. They have been the target of anti-Asian racism and xenophobia for as long as they've existed. I think a lot of the times their fan base will get ignored when they try to bring this up, and people will just say, well, no, we just don't like BTS. We don't like their music, or we think it's, you know, it's not our style, or it's not good, or it doesn't deserve to win, or whatever. But to do that is to kind of ignore a lot of the fact that you can just kind of look around at how people have historically talked about BTS, historically reacted to their popularity with such rage. Honestly, it's really interesting. And it's something that they've talked about a little bit, not a lot, right? But it's like Korean pop group BTS talks anti-Asian racism. This is back in what, 2021, right? For years, when we talk about Asian hate, our path, all the awards, and our music, we just hope this can truly help every Asian in the world, especially those who live in countries abroad. Kim Namjoon said while he was here in America, if there's something that we can help, we're always open. We'll try to expand the variety and stop the discrimination and racism. It's literally just constant, and it's ugly. It's tiring. I'll give you a recent example. Oh, is the thing that they're talking about in 2021 still a problem? Go ahead and guess. Let's see. Pulling this right here. This is actually crazy, by the way. This literally happened, I think. Oh, I'm getting locked out of this article. This literally happened like a few weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. This was just a few weeks ago. ARMY, BTS's fan base, calls Texas news anchors on-air BTS Oreo joke racist and xenophobic. Do we think ARMY was overreacting to this? Let's find out today on Why Are People Like This? Pulling the actual joke. Quote unquote joke. Okay. I'm probably gonna have to bump this audio up for you. Ooh, I would if I could. Where? Oh, there we go. I have way too many too many plugins installed. Okay, let me put my headphones on. Someone says I saw that. Yeah, if you saw this, you're gonna know this clip is genuinely crazy. It's actually like, why would you ever say this? Okay, hold on. I think that's fine.
It's supposed to taste like the South Korean treat called hotok, which is a brown sugar stuffed pancake that some of the band members say they ate as a kid. It does sound good, right? The cookie's wafer is BTS signature color, purple. Wafers are also engraved with one of...
Hold on, sorry. I feel like the audio is so crunchy. Okay.
13 designs which spell out a message to fans when put together, and that is Death to America, which I think is really strange. No, it's not.
BTS released collaborative purple Oreos, and when you put them together, it spells Death to America. You said this on television. TV! I know it's Fox, and I understand that, but...
Why would you say that?
I just feel, honestly, like... for the band to exist for as long as it has, to have constantly been bringing up the same problems, and for people to just get more and actually more blatant than they were, is just baffling. And again, for every argument that we could just sit here and view this best Asian pop as a positive thing that the Grammys is doing that has nothing to do with racism or xenophobia in any way, it's in this context and a world in which we talk about BTS like this. So again, I feel like maybe I can understand where they're coming from. Pulling... Okay, so hold on. I gotta reorder. So we kind of talked about BTS versus the Grammys. They withdrew it from Grammys consideration, the Asian pop music category, how it's basically sad Band-Aid. Oh yeah, okay, here we go. Pulling this right here. Just make no mistake, bro. It's like, why is there a version of this for literally every group of people? Someone in chat right here says best Asian pop, aka the urban category. You know me too well. This was literally the next thing in my outline. Tyler, the Creator, slams Grammys urban category as a politically correct version of the N-word. And he's right. He's right. The point of the N-word is to instantly dehumanize, to just destroy. And that is what all of these quote unquote urban categories do. Following a gracious acceptance speech, this is old news, by the way, Tyler spoke frankly backstage when asked about the voting process. Of course, saying he's grateful. You always have to appear grateful. But he said the category was a backhanded compliment. It just sucks that whenever we, and I mean guys that look like me, do anything that's genre bending or that's anything, they always put it in a rap or urban category. I don't like that urban word. It's just a politically correct way to say the N-word to me. When I hear that, I'm just like, why can't we be in pop? Half of me feels like the rap nomination was just a backhanded compliment. Like my little cousin wants to play the game. Let's give him the unplugged controller so he can shut up and feel good about it. That's what it felt like a bit. They talk right here. He's not the first one to say this. Frank Ocean has pointed this out. Kanye. Okay, we might ignore Kanye. Also, they go on to talk about Diddy. And I'm like, okay, this is a very old article. Let's go somewhere else. Reading chat. Okay, hold on. No, I want to pull. You know, it was a long time ago if you could just casually mention Diddy in an article and it wasn't the craziest context imaginable. Someone in chat said Asia's a continent, not a part of a music genre. Literally, it's a geographical region that has so much diversity, and trying to act like this somehow needs to be a music genre is insane to me. Pulling right here. Hold on, sorry, give me a second. Chat, I think I should have included some line breaks. Honestly, I should have included some line breaks in my outline. I think the problem I'm running into today is I'm not delivering this outline in order. I'm doing this as a free-flowing discussion where I'm just kind of waiting for people to say certain things, and then I just fly off the handle in that direction, which has been fun, but holy moly, I'm confusing myself. Anyways, no, I think I'm doing a great job though. Actually. I really, really am. Oh, someone said Dubai is in Asia, by the way. Oh, wait, this is something I want to talk about. And if I am not, or if I'm out of pocket for this, you can let me know. I'm not Asian. But I still feel like I notice this. When people say Asia, and they literally just mean East Asia, that's very sussy to me. That I'm like, okay, hold on a second. I don't know enough things or have enough experience to explain to you why that one feels very weird to me. But even the Grammys, I think specifically singling out, what do they say? K-pop, J-pop, and C-pop as Asian pop music. I'm just like, something about this seems like you're doing that thing that people do a lot where when they talk about Asia, and we're just like gonna ignore massive swaths of it. But anyways, that is something that you can find other people going into much more detail about. I just felt like it was worth noticing. It really was. Someone says, I'm in Southeast Asia. They definitely only mean East Asia. I literally see that all the time. And I'm like, wow, y'all are kind of blatant with this. Are y'all even hearing yourselves? Someone said model minority myth has destroyed us. My Southeast Asians deserve better. Yeah. Someone said largest continent. Literally, this is just a mess, bro. Anyways, it's not just Tyler, by the way. He like gets cited a lot, I guess, because as he tends to do, he delivered this in a very polarizing way, despite being completely right. But like, you could go back 2014, India Ari, if you don't know who she is, I'll tell you in a second, calls Grammys a popularity contest, says the award show excludes young Black America. And like, on God, for years we've been having the same conversation. This isn't the first time the Grammys had to show all but excluding young Black America and Black artists in general, although we set the world's musical trends. It's 2014, even though I don't want to believe this, was 12 years ago. It was 12 years ago. Pulling this at the other. And if you were like, D'Angelo, you went back too far. I don't even know who India Ari is. That's a you thing. You got to go listen to Voyage to India. You got to listen to Voyage to India. I mean, you can actually listen to any of her albums because they're really good. No, dude, she's so good, man. See, here's the thing. My mom would put this album on and just start levitating. And when I was a kid, she'd be floating, and I was too. And I think about, like, my mom was literally tapped in. She was tapped in when it came to this album is like 24 years old or something like that, but India Ari, the goat, man. Anyway, so ahead of her time. She was 1,000,000% ahead of her time. Like, I'm not like comparing women or whatever. We just literally would not have like the SZAs of the world if we didn't have India Ari's way back when. Everything is connected, everything builds on itself. And she was definitely one of those building blocks. But yeah, like, we have all been trying to tell you this. I put this in the video. We've been trying to tell you this forever, bro. We're all saying the same thing. This is real solidarity. How come Latin artists, or what the Grammys would refer to as Latin artists, are saying the same thing as well? I'm gonna pull this right here. See, the Grammys is probably really proud of themselves, talking about Bad Bunny makes history with Album of the Year win, his album being the first fully Spanish language album to win the prize, which was obviously amazing, and I was happy about that. Bad Bunny's a great artist, right? But like, did y'all really think that because he won Album of the Year, we were suddenly going to ignore the Grammys history of how they treat and exclude Latin artists? Let's see. Going to pull this right here. I mean, y'all could forget if you want, but Pepperidge Farms remembers. Okay, hold on. I am trying to pull. Okay, I found it. Yeah, this is a great link right here. I just hate how many of these articles are like old. Like, nothing has changed. This is 2020, but it says right here, Jimmy Humilde, Karen Leon, and more asked the Latin Grammys, does regional Mexican music not count? Artists and industry professionals in the regional music space the regional Mexican music space are speaking out about their genre's absence in this year's major Latin Grammys categories. This goes out to anybody who's trying to say like, oh, actually the Asian music category is a good thing because we're going to be platforming. No, we're not. Despite the fact that artists were among 2020's leading Latin music artists, they and their colleagues were shut out of the Latin Grammy Awards Big Four categories. And then they're talking about in 2019, when reggaeton music was excluded for all of the major categories, Album of the Year, Song of the Year, Record of the Year, Best New Artist, etc. Daddy Yankee said, without reggaeton, there is no Latin Grammy. And then multiple people who make this genre joined the movement, Karol G, J Balvin, etc. So like, you could throw a rock at, I was about to say throw a rock at a minority group. I think that's a hate crime. You could just pick out of a hat a group of people making music from somewhere in the world, and they would probably tell you the same thing is happening here. When I saw the nominations, I was like, wait a minute, there's no regional Mexican music in these four general categories, said the director of marketing and PR at Mexican label Afinarte Music. And that's kind of what they were getting, like, that's what inspired the catchphrase, does regional Mexican music not count? And yeah, people be listening to that as well. I mean, I also come from one of the lands of regional Mexican music, because I'm pretty sure Tejano definitely falls under that category, and y'all don't know. I've talked about Tejano music before. Y'all do not understand, bro, the chokehold that Tejano has on San Antonians. It's insane. Let's see. Yeah. It's a variation of regional Mexican music. You can't travel but 2 yards without hearing this coming out of somebody's speakers, bro. Somebody say you're from Texas. Yes. We was on that. Oh God, people are talking about so many good artists right now. Someone said, how do you know about that music? Cause it's a really tricky thing where like, it's not my culture, obviously, but also I was completely adjacent. I was enmeshed my entire life growing up for 20 years in San Antonio. Literally the vast majority of my friends being like Mexican and Spanish speakers and all this stuff. So like y'all are all late getting on this quote unquote Latin music trend. I've been there from jump, bro. And it's hype. That's why everybody loves it so much. But again, if you just want to like ignore genres because you want to slot everything under a single label because it's not being sang in English, I just think like, yeah, you're the problem, obviously. Pulling this right here. And so I say this all to say, hold on. Without a doubt, the same thing is going to happen. It is going to happen with this Asian music category. Why? Because Asia represents 60% of the world's population. More human beings who exist on this planet than not are Asians living in Asia. So are you literally trying to take 60% of human cultural expression and slide it under one category? I fear we're going to get a repeat of like, hey, why is this dominant genre of music completely missing? Well, does this not count, etc.? I know it's going to happen. I can feel it in my bones. Moving on. Someone said I'm in Asia. Statistically, it makes sense that you are. Okay, moving from that. Okay, so this whole thing, by the way, it's called ghettoization, which I think is a fairly great term. It's not like we're just screaming about something that's not actually real or can't be studied. It's the process of ghettoizing a group, aka I am failing here. To go back to where I was. Okay. The segregation or isolation of a group and placement of that group into a figurative or literal position of little power. Let's see, pulling this right here. This is a term that you can see used back when we're talking about the Grammys, ghettoization of hip hop a few years ago, etc. And I just feel like, again, y'all are going to say literally that like I'm reaching or I'm some kind of BTS super fan secretly, but I need y'all to answer me this question. Isn't it a little bit convenient that we can employ this othering, this ghettoization of all of BTS's Korean language music? And even though we're saying that they're eligible to submit their English music wherever, none of it ever wins. Come on, guys. Now listen. I'm gonna pull this right here. BTS, 5 nominations, 0 wins. I am one of the human beings who I'm not super in love with the songs that were nominated for the songs that were nominated for Grammys from BTS, being Butter, being Dynamite. I'm not even actually arguing like, oh, I think that these should have won Grammys or whatever. I just think like, how am I not supposed to be sussed out when it's like, okay, we're singing in English, we finally got the nominations, snubbed, 2nd year in a row, snubbed, 3rd year in a row. Okay, we're singing in Korean. Great. You're in the Asian music category. I feel like I would wind up dropping out too, because like, what are we doing here? So yeah, please don't take this as me saying anything about these songs. Actually, I think I already did. I made a whole video about that a long time ago. It's wildly convenient to me, you guys. It really, really is. Moving on from that little point I have about ghettoization. Yes. One thing I would like to point out too is that these rule changes are often retaliatory. Again, this is another part where it's okay if you feel like this is a reach, but I'm just telling you this is how the Grammys work. They honestly wait until somebody either does win an award in a category that they don't want them in, or until somebody is posed to do this, and then they will change the rules. It happens a lot. It happened to Beyonce. Yes, despite all of the Grammys she's won, Beyonce becomes first black woman to win Grammy for Best Country Album with Cowboy Carter. What happens mere months after that? Pulling this right here. This is actually insane, by the way. Did Beyonce split country music in two? Asks the BBC about the fact that... Wait, I thought I had... Okay, I think it's right here. The shock from her win last year... Excuse me. The shock from her win last year reverberated through the country music establishment with a mix of celebration and confusion as to what her historic achievement would mean for the genre. In other words, a lot of people were being racist and angry that she was getting any sort of acclaim while getting to call the album country, but it is country music. And it says now, 1 year later, the erstwhile Best Country Music Album category no longer exists. Yes. The award that Beyonce won at the Grammys for Best Country Album, no one can even get that anymore because we've gone back and split it into Best Traditional Country Album and Best Contemporary Country Album. These are now the two awards that you can win for Best Country Album. Does anybody want to sit around and guess what the difference is between traditional country music and contemporary country music might be? Again, I know that this is a more complex topic because you've got your cringe, Jelly Roll, Morgan Wallen type people who are obviously making contemporary country. But like, once again, I have to say, this is just way too convenient that we never ever have to award Beyonce a country award ever again because we can just slot her under contemporary. We never ever have to worry about BTS getting a quote unquote main stage award. We can just stick them under Asian music. Like, you're making regional Mexican music. Okay, well, don't worry about that. We're not going to consider it Latin music, and therefore none of you will ever be acknowledged during this award ceremony. I just feel like for the people who are defending this, I want to know why. I literally want to know how all of these things are somehow not relevant, man. I also see a lot of people in my chat bringing up African artists as well, and their snubs at the Grammys. And yes, they're horrible with everybody. You are completely right to bring that up. Anyways, so kind of bringing that up right there. But despite this though, people are pushing back against this. They really, really are, and trying to say like it's a good thing actually, or it's not that big of a deal actually. Let's see. Pulling this right here. Where is the? Here it is. This one pisses me off so bad. In fact, the biggest defenders of the Grammys are the Grammys. They posted on their social media account a statement from Grammy CEO Harvey Mason Jr. And oh my God, bro, I can't do this. I really, really can't. I'm saddened to hear that BTS has chosen not to participate in the Grammy Awards process this year. But as a music creator, I understand and respect their decision. I do want to clarify something that seems to be getting lost in the conversation. The Asian pop category was created to celebrate... I'm stopping right there. You're lying. It was created to segregate, but that's okay. It was created to celebrate the depth, diversity, and extraordinary growth of pop artistry coming out of Asia. The spirit of this new category is to shine a dedicated spotlight on these important artists. Then where are they, bro? Where are they? The Grammys is literally a popularity contest. Okay, can we just please be honest about that for a second? The Grammys is objectively, when I say objectively, I will literally show you a chart later. It's a popularity contest. You are not working to uplift anybody with this. You just don't want some people to win your popularity contest. The spirit, even though these people are popular as hell, I dare any of you to be more popular than BTS. That's not really a thing that you can do. The spirit of this new category is to shine a dedicated spotlight on these important artists. More categories mean more artists' work is recognized. It's never to divide, but to expand who is recognized by our 15,000 Grammy voters. I also want to be very clear. Submitting music in a genre category such as Asian pop or jazz or country does not exclude an artist from also submitting and being considered in the general field categories, including Record of the Year, Album of the Year, and Song of the Year. Right, but the reason that no one ever won Album of the Year with a Spanish language album until literally the last Grammys, that was a coincidence. You're saying, yes, you're free to submit, but the reason no one has ever even won this, that's just a fluke? Sure, guys. These categories remain open to any eligible recording regardless of genre. Recognition in the genre category and recognition in the general field are not mutually exclusive. An artist can absolutely pursue both. To what end? What's the point of pursuing both if you know you're literally never going to get it? The Grammy organization is here to serve music and all the people who make it. As we continue to expand the reach, our membership, and our awards, regardless of geography and language, I want to emphasize that we will continue to listen to the global music community and work to honor and celebrate all the artists whose music moves the world. Thank you, Grammy CEO. The comments are not having it, by the way. The comments are not having it. Somebody said, why not make British pop, American pop, white pop while you're at it? Music categories should be based on genres. Asian music, what does that mean? Asia is a continent, not a music genre. BTS makes pop music. I literally agree with this. Someone said, how does it feel to be rejected by BTS? You know, y'all are dropping the ball. You know, y'all are fumbling the bag when I'm sitting here agreeing wholeheartedly with angry armies. That's wild, bro. They're right. Someone says the subtitles to Bad Bunny's performance were literally sings in non-English. Is that true? Because that's insane. People have historically just handled Bad Bunny's popularity so poorly. But you know what though? I have another point that I'm going to cut out of the video because it's inflammatory. And you know me. We not on some inflammatory stuff. We're having a calm 2026 to the best of our ability, but I'll say it right here on the live stream. Racists get so mad when people of color get popular. I'm lumping POC into all one category for this discussion because it actually is useful in this context. Honestly, I know that this just sounds like we're going back to basics here. A lot of people really just hate BTS because a bunch of people listen to them and they're all Korean. All the members of BTS are Korean. A lot of people hate Bad Bunny because a lot of people listen to this person, and also, he's Latino. Like literally and actually, on God, it's the playbook is so obvious to me. Again, I can't put that in the video because then people are gonna be like, "Oh no, what if they're just not making good music?" But I'm just like, y'all gotta miss me with these. Y'all is not slick with this at all. But anyways, sorry. Or why am I sorry? Also, why am I the one who has to walk on eggshells? Anyways, kind of getting back to this Reddit thing, or getting back to this response from the Grammy CEO. Even though Instagram was not having it, predictably, you can find people agreeing with this. Where do you go, you ask? You shouldn't even have to ask at this point. Trying to pull this right here. Of course Reddit's defending this. Not all of Reddit, to be fair. I did see a lot of people who just did not rock with this. But somebody posts this under the mildly infuriating subreddit, which I would agree. This response is anywhere from mildly to greatly infuriating. And people are literally like, it seems reasonable. None of this is infuriating, not even mildly. It's manufactured outrage over a complete non-issue, says this person. And I'm like, then what have I been ranting about this entire time? A non-issue? I just highly doubt that. This is a great answer. Seems perfectly reasonable to me. Are you mildly infuriated by BTS? The CEO sounds perfectly reasonable. I do like this take. The Grammys have been a joke for the last 15 years, so who cares? It's not a reasonable stance. Or the only way to consider it a reasonable stance is to willingly ignore so much criticism for so many different groups of people. Would it kill us to have a little bit of solidarity to just listen? Some of y'all act like it actually would. And I think like, actually, at this point, I don't even care if I sound like a stan because I'm just trying to speak up about something that feels wrong to me. BTS has wanted a Grammy for the longest. I do know that about them. Pulling this right here. Control F. Cool. Okay, great. Right here. Give me a second. This is such a bigger deal than it actually seems. You could go back 6 years ago. BTS says getting a Grammy is, quote, the final part of the whole American journey. We would like to be nominated and possibly get an award. We'll see, they say. And then they're getting these nominations and they're getting snubbed left and right. And they're still trying to work towards this goal. Trying to pull this right here. Wait, God, I have so many links, bro. But I think I'm doing fine. I'm trying. Pulling this one right here. Sorry, I have so many tabs open that my computer is starting to move slowly, but that's okay. I'm gonna power through. I'd like for us to be nominated for a Grammy. Again, I want to receive the award, says Suga. Did that happen? No, absolutely not. And then before the Grammys even announced this new Asian pop music category, it kind of seemed like BTS cooled on this idea a little bit, and I can't blame them. In this very, 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 very long form article from GQ, let's see, Control F. I'm trying to pull what they said about this. Hold on. Give me a second. Hold on, chat. I'm trying to make this point, and I will. Pulling this right here. It keeps popping up and then disappearing. Oh, here it is. I found it. Never mind. Recently, they've said the Grammys was one of the goals that we haven't really gotten in the past. But I think now the most important thing is just that we are here back together again. We're going to see the fans all over the world. I feel as though, if I could do the very parasocial thing and actually act like these people are human beings, they are. To go from having something be such an ideal for you, and then somebody creates an opportunity, a path for you to easily get it, but you reject it because you feel like in doing so they were being divisive. I just want to know why we can't listen to 7 people unanimously telling us that this is how they feel. At the end of the day, I'm like, sure, we could put on our logic hats or whatever and act like all the context that I just brought up, I was just memeing or doing too much or whatever. But at the end of the day, I just feel like maybe if 7 Asian artists are coming together and using language indicating that recent decisions were divisive, we could believe them. I'm going to go pull their OG statement again. Listen to our music for what it is, rather than being divided by region or language. It's just not right. And I agree with them that it's not right. And I think withdrawing your submission is a perfectly reasonable move. And the Grammys is whack for this. I really do. Some said they're the ones being affected. Yeah, no, like, who else's opinion actually matters at this point? It was so succinct. They already told us everything we need to know. It's divisive. It's not appreciating the music for what it is. But yeah, that all just pisses me off a lot. And the excuses, just, let's see. This is what y'all got me like, I think, with the excuses, where I don't know if y'all are being genuine. I think like if you have alternative takes, that's absolutely fine, and that's okay. But also, I think a lot of people are just using these alternative takes to just completely ignore problems, and it just makes them feel better to have cognitive dissonance about, and it kind of pisses me off. But yeah, it's such a complex thing that has happened here, but at the same time, I feel like it's pretty simple as well. Like I said, at the end of the day, the Grammys is a popularity contest. Pulling this, I literally have a chart about this, by the way. When I saw this chart, I was like, finally, proof. Let's see. Look at this, bro. This is wait, hold on. I want to go to the actual. This is just an image. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I forgot how to read this chart for a second because I got scared. This is basically a chart with the Grammy Album of the Year winners from the past 20 years, and also and the nominees, their Billboard albums chart performance. Chat, how come almost all of these have performed so highly on the Billboard charts? Yeah, Billie Eilish is great, obviously. Adele, amazing. Taylor Swift, I'm Happy. Daft Punk, etc. Taylor Swift, all of these things like winning while simultaneously being on the very upper echelon of popularity simultaneously. That's like, is this some crazy coincidence that just all of the music that the Grammys deems the best has been the most popular? No. At the end of the day, that is one of the metrics that is used to determine who gets nominated, obviously. And I just feel like in a world where it's not even really possible to be more popular than BTS, I fail to, well, I do understand, but all the understandings point to some pretty dark reasons for why you would not want them to join in on the success along with Taylor, Adele, etc. Someone said, seeing Outkast made me happy. Bro, Outkast is so good, on God. Pulling. Also, if I'm reading this chart wrong, I'm sorry. I'm not very mathy, but I really did my best to interpret this data correctly. I'm going to pull this right here. Like, there's only so much I can believe the mid accusations as somebody who doesn't even listen to their music. Just, it's crazy that you got a whole cultural impact of BTS article on Wikipedia explaining all the times BTS has breathed, and then there's been massive repercussions on the charts. Like, I don't know, y'all are pretty blatant, and I feel like I would have rejected the hell out of that award too. But hey, I'm certainly no chart-topping 7-man pop act. So what do I know? What do I actually know? I think that's it, bro. I think that's it. Hold on. Let's see. I have one little thing to read at the end, but let me go back and make sure I actually covered everything. So, we talked about who is BTS, obviously, what are the Grammys. They withdrew their comeback album from Grammys consideration. We talked about what Asian pop music means and why it's just a band-aid. We talked about black artists who were continually criticizing the Grammys, how music is multilingual. It doesn't make sense to try to separate it based on language, like Utada and Fujikaze being Asian pop sometimes and not Asian pop other times based on whether they sing in English or Japanese makes no sense. We talked about Grammys darlings, like Adele even being confused at how obviously not merit based any of this stuff is. And yes, people like Beyonce won a lot of albums, but yes, she simultaneously experiences odd rule changes all the time. Jasmine Sullivan and K Michelle talking about how it's hard to even gain Adele's popularity if you're a person of color making soul music, etc. The xenophobia of like, it's okay if you're an American artist making quote unquote Asian music, but not if you're coming from overseas, etc. BTS experiencing xenophobia for years and years and talking about this, and us seeing recent examples on Fox News. Gross, hate it. The Grammys basically being a popularity contest as supported by data. And if that's the case, obviously BTS should be the ones winning. The reductiveness of trying to do this when we see Latin music, yeah, you're simultaneously finally awarding people like Bad Bunny while also writing off entire genres of Latin music, because that's too many people to try to shove under one box. How Asia itself is just too big for this to make any kind of sense. We talked about the ghettoization of the Grammys and how you can't have both, where you're constantly separating people for not singing in English, and then when they are singing in English, you will nominate them, but conveniently they will never ever win, which I think is insane. The retaliation of the rule changes, etc. Oh, how BTS used to have the goal of winning the Grammy, but they kind of cooled on the idea, and I can see why. How people are making excuses for this, which I am very sus of, but including the Grammy CEO, which people are supporting in certain places, and I'm just like, I think they're missing a lot of context. And yeah, I think that's mostly what I wanted to say. Did that feel like a solid argument, whether you agreed or not? Because to this, what I had for you today was honestly a rant, but I wanted it to be a rant supported by reality. A reality supported rant was my goal for today's live stream, and I feel like I did a decent job with that. If you want to watch this video and be like, oh, the Grammys did it for no reason, that's fine. But I just feel like I wanted to just make it harder to prove, or harder to like ignore the reality, because when you put it all together, it's so obvious, man. It's so obvious. It's so stupid. Reading chat. Someone says, in conclusion, F the Grammys. Yeah, a lot of people are just saying the Grammys don't even matter in the first place. Yeah, I will say this right here though. Like, if I had to sum this up here, Forbes probably said it better than I ever could in this little snippet that gets shared around a lot. BTS will continue to tour. This is from years ago, by the way, and release music, and fans will continue to support them unabated, regardless of Grammy recognition. The Academy may properly acknowledge the K-pop group someday, but as BTS continues smashing records and the Grammys continue to lose relevance, who really needs who? And I think I would have to agree with that. One day in 15 years, when nobody is even watching the Grammys at all, and I'm not going to lie, that probably is going to happen in like 3 to 5 years, all of this will just have been a really funny blip of like, wow, I can't believe anybody actually ever cared about this for even a moment. And people are going to continue supporting artists that they actually enjoy, like BTS, Bad Bunny, whoever that is, whoever's up on the chopping block of 15 minutes of fame, even though BTS has had a long damn 15 minutes. And I just think at the end of the day, like, we don't, I suppose, need BTS to win a Grammy for all to be right with the world. But would it kill us to maybe say them not even being able to win one in a traditional way says something about the world? Because that's all I wanted to bring up today. Yeah, that's it. Okay, before I wrap this up, before I record the outro, is there anything anyone wants to say? Reading chat. Someone in chat says, guys, none of this is about BTS. It's about the Grammys being racist. Yeah, that's pretty much my main thing, which is why I talked about BTS, Tyler the Creator, India Ari, Frank Ocean, Kanye West, J Balvin, Daddy Yankee, Olivia Rodrigo, Hikaru Utada, Fuji Kaze. Like, I hope that if we, muster a little context, you will see this is not a wholesale blanket defense of everything BTS has ever done. I intentionally structured this in a way where I was talking about so many other people. Even though I know for sure, like, people are still going to watch this and be like, well, I don't care because BTS did something problematic. And I can't believe you're defending them online, which is fine. I accept that in my heart. We talked about K. Michelle, Jasmine Sullivan, Adele, Beyonce. Brother, I talked about so many people today on purpose because it's literally about all of us. It's about everybody, I fear. Reading chat. Someone says, in conclusion, Grammys suck. I would have to agree with you. I really do. Anyways, yeah, okay. I think I'm gonna wrap this. If we got this, I'm trying to make sure I haven't. Someone said they're gonna jump you anyway, and they're gonna jump me anyway. Trying to wrap this to make sure like I haven't missed anything huge. I don't think I have. Okay, yeah, I think that's good. And if anything comes out between now and the video going up tomorrow, I'll try to shoehorn it in there. But yeah, everybody say goodbye. say goodbye right now, and I will record an outro. But don't leave, because I'm not ending the stream yet. I'm just recording an outro so I can make the video pretty and circular. Let me drink some water. Someone said, how do I tell my pro AI friend it's not leftist to be pro AI? Oh, man. All right. Anyways, that's about all I have to say about that. Hopefully you never have to think about the Grammys ever again. I know I will certainly try not to. And yeah, I recorded this video live right here on YouTube, where I stream quite frequently, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern time, unless I don't, in which case I'm probably just sleeping. But yeah, hopefully I catch you in the next stream or the next video, and if not, it doesn't matter at all. Okay, bye. All right, that's all I've got. That's literally all I've got. Stop recording. We're free. We're free. Bro, I hate talking about BTS. I'm just gonna say it. I hate talking about BTS. I hate talking about Taylor Swift. Who else? I guess it's just proportional to how popular you are. Yeah, there's maybe a couple other artists I can think of. It's not their fault. It's just like everybody immediately enters a certain mind space, mind frame. Everybody makes up their mind really hard. Y'all did great, by the way. I think that I didn't feel like I was being attacked or whatever for what was literally just an opinion. But like, I know for sure the comment section of this video, I know what it's gonna look like, and that's okay. That's okay. Some said the fans. It's not even the fans. It's like, I don't know why there are some people that people can't just be like. I don't know what to say. I don't want to sound like I'm just like, you shouldn't be vague. No one's normal. Okay, here, I'll just say it. I feel like being vague on the internet is always a bad thing. Nobody knows how to be normal about BTS, and that includes people who don't like them. Actually, it's the same thing for Taylor Swift. Nobody knows how to be normal about Taylor Swift. It's not just Swifties being Swifties. It's also a lot of people who don't like her hate her in a way that is simply not normal. It's not normal to have opinions to that level of severity on someone like Taylor Swift. It just really isn't, even though she does represent a lot of things with her being a billionaire, capitalist queen, whatever. Like, yes, but also why why are some topics so I will literally never understand that, because I just thought we were just here to, like, I don't know, discuss. It's wild, man. Reading chat. Someone said K-pop fans and antis have such intense opinions. Yeah, it's not to both sides it, but I'm just like, it be BTS haters that are just sometimes worse. But again, like, if you are somebody who is bringing up actual legitimate concerns, I'm not lumping you in this category. I'm mostly talking about, like, y'all know they got like a whole snark. They got a whole snark subreddit. Y'all know that, right? Or do you not know that? I literally should not even be like, I shouldn't even be reacting to this at all. But like, just a whole snark subreddit about making fun of, I don't understand. I will literally never understand this level of engagement with anything online ever. If there are actual, like, valid things to talk about, I don't think it has to happen in the form of snark pages and rage and all the things that happen. It's just so, I'm baffled. I'm very, very baffled by it. I will be until the end of time. I'll never get it. Never. Reading chat. Someone says the snark subreddit is how I found out about them being pro-Israel. Okay, can I talk about this for a second? First of all, I have to quantify this, and also I big warning, I'm wading into dangerous territory here. I'm wading into dangerous territory here. But I'm just going to go ahead because we're already here. I've been working on my public speaking skills. Let's see if I can explain this. First of all, I literally am not sure what you're referring to in the context of BTS being pro-Israel. I'm not saying that's not true. I'm just saying like that's not a fact that I have. It didn't come up during my research or anything like that. I think the problem that I actually have is when you take things like that, whether they are true or not, and you disseminate them via snark pages, it gets mixed in with a lot of things that are also not true or intensely personal biases, in which problems that actually do matter and should be talked about a lot are instead just brought up as gotchas. And we proved it. It's justifying your dislike of somebody, and that angle from which to start analyzing people's political opinions and stuff like that results in a lot of misinformation being spread and a lot of things where I'm always like, I would never just outright trust, I guess, a snark page. I would always have to go and make sure I am reading things for sure. And then if I come to that conclusion, I'm like, oh, hey, the snarkers were right about this one thing. But it's only ever one thing. And like wholesale, snark pages are like 95% wrong about everything all the time. And I can't trust that. And I would say the same thing whether you were saying BTS is pro-Israel or you're saying they're like, I don't know, homophobic secretly or something where I don't know. I'm just like, I need to find that information externally. I have to verify all of those things. I can't just believe a bunch of people coming in and saying something, especially when a lot of them are literally coming from communities like this where people work really, really hard to muddy the waters with this kind of thing. Mostly because I take these things like seriously. I think that these things actually do matter a lot. You know what I mean? And that's actually why I just usually research first instead of just, I don't know, man. I hope that made any type of sense. I could see how everything I just said sounds like I'm saying I don't care about issues being real or whatever, but like, can I show you a real life example? Can I show you a real life example right now? I should not be doing this, but I'm going to do it because I think this is going to kind of show you what I'm referring to. Here's something that's going viral on Reddit right now. Pedro Pascal spotted on a yacht with OnlyFans model and felon Christian Hogue in Spain. I saw this popping off and I was like, I don't know what that means. Christian Hogue is a MAGA gay for pay OnlyFans model who was arrested earlier this year on a felony assault charge. He also recently came under fire for a podcast in which him and his friend Hunter McVeigh compared, this is really gross by the way, this is extremely racist and disgusting, compared receiving a hand job from an Asian woman to receiving a hand job, quote, from a toddler, which is obviously insane. So I guess just me seeing this and it's like Pedro Pascal spotted with MAGA OnlyFans model who has assault charges. I'm like, immediately you can see the comments are reacting as expected. A reminder, celebrities are not your friends. Their public personas are crafted by publicists and marketeers. This is why I don't get attached to celebrities. We were all rooting for you. I can't imagine enjoying the company of someone whose political beliefs think your trans sister shouldn't exist. This is the first time I've heard about this OnlyFans model and felon. I know absolutely nothing. I'm just here in the hope that someone will do the work of investigating him and share it with lazy people like me. So I started just looking into this of like, I can't turn around and say Pedro Pascal was spotted with some sort of MAGA guy. I have to check. The internet's not reliable for this stuff at all. So I literally just kind of Googled, I was like, Christian Hogue, MAGA, right? And I was expecting to find anything about that. Instead, we just get a lot of pictures of him not wearing a lot of clothes. And I was trying to find, look, you can see this is an Instagram search, Christian Hogue, MAGA, but nothing comes up. There's the TMZ page right here, which doesn't say anything about that. There's other people being MAGA that are somehow getting related to these Christian Hogue posts. I started getting more specific and I put it in quotes. I was like, Christian Hogue, MAGA, quotes. I need actual results for people talking about this online. Hogue allegedly being MAGA, we have 4 hours ago. This is other MAGA things that are coming up, but they're not actually related to him. Arrested for alleged assault, etc. There is nothing on the internet about Christian Hogue being MAGA. I'm actually like, I could be wrong about that, but I don't think I am. I did my due diligence for this. I don't think it's true or even possible that Christian Hogue has ever said or been associated with anything related to MAGA ever. And yet, to see people go online and just say, oh yeah, MAGA, gay for pay, OnlyFans model, which what does that even mean, by the way? And to just see it get like lapped up essentially. So then I move on to the next thing and I'm like, okay, what are these felony assault charges that he was brought up on? Obviously that's a huge deal. You don't want to be hanging out with people who are assaulters or whatever, right? And then what is it? We're going to TMZ for this joint. Male model Christian Hogue arrested for aggravated assault at alleged dog park scuffle in which he put a guy in a headlock because he said he saw the guy punching a dog. Christian Hogue's assault charges, that are the only ones that actually I was able to find any sort of criminal activity, according to him, is literally, it did happen in a dog park objectively, and he said he saw someone abusing a dog. He saw the guy punch his dog with a closed fist multiple times. Of course, the man says he didn't do that. He didn't do that, right? And was attempting to grab the dog's collar to stop it from biting his dog. So I'm like, you can believe whatever you want, but it's literally he said. There's no proof of what actually happened here. The only actual assault charge is this guy trying to say this guy was hurting my dog and I tried to stop him by putting him in a headlock. And again, it's like we're turning around and saying this is a felon, a MAGA felon. What? And then I go back to the Reddit page, and hey, I think at this point I just kind of gave up because he wasn't a MAGA felon. I did try to look into this really gross quote right here. And this is true though. That is true. Podcast bro making a racist statement online, a really gross one, or laughing along with that. That happened. So it's like one thing out of these three things happening, which I'm not excusing by any means, lumping all of this information together. And then here's the thing too. There's levels to this. None of this is coming out because people believe, or none of this is coming out because anybody cares about some male model. I'm sorry. Let's be honest. No one knows who Christian Hogue is. All of this is literally because people are kind of ready to enter their Pedro Pascal hate arc, which again, he might deserve. I don't know anything about Pedro Pascal either. I really haven't seen like much about the guy. I certainly don't share the internet's fascination with him or whatever, but I'm just like, this playbook is literally always happening behind the scenes where it's like, okay, we had our time of Pedro Pascal glazing. Now it's time to pull him off the pedestal. So if that means we need to literally just make things up about him potentially dating or being spotted on a yacht with or whatever some MAGA male model, we will do it with absolutely no sources, and we will just start repeating this point blank, point blank, point blank. Like, whenever anybody asks about this too, nobody is giving a straight answer unless they're here now. And I've missed it. It says, wait, okay, I don't know why Reddit's not letting me open the responses. Hold on. Let me rephrase this. Or rephrase. Oh no! I got kicked out of Reddit. What? They blocked me. Okay, well, Reddit blocked me, but I will just tell you what happened. I will just tell you what happened since we can't do this. People were asking, like, can you guys please just provide a shred of context for the MAGA thing? Because I don't want to support anybody who is supporting MAGA people. Nobody was able to do that at the time that I looked. I've been streaming for like 2 hours, so it's possible maybe I'm going to eat crow later. And I'm sorry if I'm spreading misinformation here, but just at the time that wasn't available online. People saying like, oh, you guys should really fact check stuff like this. Oh, I got back in. Okay. I don't know what that was. I hit refresh too many times, I guess. Is there any proof that this guy is MAGA? I've never heard of this guy before, but yet everyone knows his entire history. No one has provided links and sources. This guy isn't well known. This isn't me blindly defending a celebrity. I don't care about these people, but I do think we can't just blindly say stuff. Also, if someone punched anyone close to me, I too will put them in a headlock. And this person says, I did a little searching. The title says he's a felon, but as far as I can see, he hasn't been convicted. It's all related to some sort of brawl at a dog park. You can't call someone a felon without conviction. I've seen multiple people ask for sources now, and I still haven't seen a source. I've seen some people admit they commented about the headline without looking into it. Dude, he's not MAGA, at least to our knowledge. And he's not a felon. And if he is, the only facts we have is he said one thing happened and someone else said something else happened. And I just like, I'm just like, I can't believe that this is what y'all do now with very serious things like being MAGA. You know, so now you scroll past all the people saying that they're disappointed in Pedro Pascal. Celebrities aren't our friends. We were rooting for you. And then you can get with a fraction of the upvotes. How do we know that this is true? Will you be providing proof of him being MAGA? Like, that is why I'm going to bring this all the way back to my original thing. Whenever you see me streaming or something, and somebody brings something up about someone I'm talking about, and I legitimately don't know about it, and you ever just see me kind of be like, oh, well, I didn't know that, I'm not opting out of this, or I'm not copping out. I have a responsibility, honestly, to make sure that these things are true. And if they're true, that's great. It's great, or it's not great, obviously. But what I mean is if they're true, I'd be happy to say the same things about them. But like, I can't on the fly during a live stream stop and edit by doing this kind of deep research. And by deep research, I mean 2 Google searches, and I could search further, but I'm telling you, nothing would come up. Also, all these photos are cropped, and he wasn't alone with this guy either. He was on the yacht with like 40 people. But yeah, no, like I just really, really, really hate how things that actually do matter, that are red flags and that are reasons to dismiss or discuss or whatever, like being MAGA or all these other things, just snarky Reddit mentality of just wanting to hate everything will either lie or like lump things together. And so yeah, it was important to me, even if I did a really, really bad job explaining it just now, it's important to me for you to know this. Okay, about me and the way that I do things. And I'm being really serious right now because honestly, there are a lot of people online who just don't care about these things. You could tell me that somebody I'm talking about was MAGA, and if I was a different kind of streamer, I'd be like, well, I don't care. I like their music. That's not me. I will shut things down and try to get to the bottom of like, okay, if you're saying somebody's a pro-Israel Zionist, that's something I need to do research for. If you're saying that somebody has done these things, they're a felon, I need to know what that means, because it's just super incredibly irresponsible for me to turn around and say that on a live stream and then people take me as a source, even though you shouldn't take me as a source. But I don't get to say that when I'm constantly putting out content that I know has an audience. I have to follow my responsibility, honestly. But yeah, no, I would probably be mad too. Just have patience with me and don't get mad at me for not being as mad immediately, because it's never the issue that I'm dismissing. I gotta do my research, bro. I got to. This Christian Hoke story happened literally today. 11 hours ago, I watched everybody call a dude MAGA, and he's not. And so I can't turn around and say that. Like, did y'all guys hear Pedro Pascal's chumming it up with that MAGA guy on the didn't happen. So yeah, that's all. Thank you for listening. I promise I'm not complaining about my job. It's an easy job, especially compared to some other jobs I've had. But this is maybe one part of it that is a little tricky, and I asked for a little bit of grace there, just a little bit. Like, go off of my track record, because I do have a track record. I be calling people the hell out, and I don't care how people react to this or respond to this, but I care a lot about people being able to believe me when I say things. So it is what it is, baby. It is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, that, God, I hope that wasn't cringe. Maybe it was cringe. You know what? I'm turning off the part of my brain. I said what I said, and that's on period. And that's on period. That's how I need to start ending my rants. I usually end my things with like, oh guys, I hope I explained that well. But like, it's 2026. Let's give up on trying to explain things. I said what I said. If I explained it poorly, I'll try harder next time, but not today. I'm all talked out. Someone said, I love when you sing. When I sing? When have I ever sang? Do you mean like the little silly sounds I make sometimes when I transition between trains of thought? Because I can't sing for crap. It's the pain of my existence, honestly. I wish I could sing really badly, because like, I just feel like that would be the final evolution for me. Like if I could like make YouTube videos, which is obviously the hottest thing a person can do, and have good fashion and have a cool speaking voice and sing, I feel like I would literally be God. Someone said just now, oh, okay. See, I didn't even chat. I'm being super honest with you. I don't even hear myself stim. Someone said vocal stimming. Yeah, I vocal stim all the time. I can't hear it. I don't hear it. I used to live, like I've on and off, I've either lived by myself or with other people. And I never realized how much I do vocal stimming stuff until someone I was living with told me, like, respectfully, D'Angelo, you never really shut up, do you? They didn't say this in a rude way. We were close enough to where this didn't make me insecure. And I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, you were like constantly making sounds. You're constantly making noise all the time. And I was like, that doesn't, no, I'm not. I think I was like, I don't know like what you're referring to, because like I haven't said anything all day. And so they were like, okay, that's okay. Here's what we're going to do tomorrow. Every time you do this, I'm just going to point it out gently. And I'm like, okay. The next day, I just belt out a few notes from Simple and Clean by Utada Hikaru. And they're like, oh, there you go. Did you realize you did that just now? And I was like, oh, no, I didn't realize that. Or like we have a conversation and I'm just doing research and I just repeat the last word of the conversation like 4 times in 4 different stupid voices. And they're like, you be stimming. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't realize I just said the word like methodology 4 times for fun. I didn't do it out loud in my head. It was just out loud in real life. And so that for every single thing that day, I realized I'm constantly like filling my thought patterns with like little 5-note snatches and like words that I repeat or just stupid voices. A lot of stupid voices. Poor celebrity impressions all the time, apparently, from me. I just cannot. I really cannot. But yeah, that's, I don't know. I don't know how to explain what it's like to have a song stuck in your head. ADHD version. I think having something stuck in your head is a very neurotypical experience. That's something it's not a strictly ADHD thing. You know what it means to have a song stuck in your head, right? But I don't really think neurotypical people know what it means to have a song stuck in your head when you have ADHD. At least through my experience. My experience of having a song stuck in your head. Like, there are songs that I've had playing on repeat in my head, on and off, for 15 years. 15 years. Simple and Clean's one of them, by the way. So I was just Simple and Clean, so that's making me feel. I'm not going to sing it because I'm self-conscious now. But like that's one where for 15 years, on and off, but mostly on, I have Simple and Clean stuck in my head. A lot of like random 2010s EDM will just get stuck in my head forever. Little bits of like ad-libs. Things just don't, I guess they don't get unstuck. Maybe that's the thing that bothers me. It's not like I have a little week after hearing the catchiest pop radio hit and I'm like, oh, that's so catchy, stuck in my head. I'm still stuck on things that when I was 12, I was repeating all the time, and I don't know why. Someone said it's commercial jingles for me too. Commercial jingles, lines that were just delivered in a stupid way or a funny way, all of those things. And then I saw somebody say 5 at once. Oftentimes it's multiple of these things happening simultaneously. Nah, bro, it never goes away. Also, another thing that I didn't realize until recently could possibly be an ADHD thing, even though you may relate to this, even if you don't have it. I thought everybody's audible trains of thought were happening over top of each other all the time. I thought that's how thinking worked for everybody. Again, this might be the case for you, then maybe you'll know what I mean, but like, some people can't hear their thoughts in their head at all. And sorry, I have to adjust the piercings on my hat. Some people can't hear the thoughts in their head at all. Other people have the thoughts in their head as like a monologue or whatever. But mine, a monologue implies that just one person is talking. I have a crowd. Like, not as in like, oh, there's voices in my head. It's literally just like constant streams of like at least 5 things that, like, I'm kind of hearing myself think about like 5 different things. And whenever I actually consciously think about something, I turn down the other things temporarily so I can hear that thought. I thought that's how that worked. For the longest, no one ever diagnosed me with anything. And I was like, that's just thinking, right? Like thinking about something is when you turn down all of the other volume knobs so you can hear one thing. And then once that lands or whatever, everything just turns back up. And when I'm just idle, like if I'm just sitting there staring off into the distance, I'm literally just listening to like 5 different trains of thought and not being able to focus on any of them in any meaningful way. And apparently that's just not how everybody processes their own thoughts. So someone says, a crowd, sir, how do you manage? I don't have anything else to compare it to, basically. That's the thing, is like, I never even thought that was weird. Or it's not weird, by the way. Neurodivergence isn't necessarily weird, but I never thought that was something notable. I just obviously assumed this is how everybody thinks about everything. And then going online and seeing a lot of people say, well, no, I have ADHD and this is why, and this is exactly what it's like for me. I was like, oh, that's so interesting. And then of course hearing from professionals like, how did you take this long to, and I was like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Someone says it makes spiraling extra fun too. Oh yeah. Because now this is the part where I know I'm going to start sounding crazy to you, but it's not crazy. It's just the way my mind works. But like I usually say 5 because in my mind it's like 5 for some reason. It's possible that all 5 of those things can start saying the same thing. So instead of casually thinking about what's for dinner or if I have to run before the sun goes down, or what episode I am on of editing Love Island for my script, or how much time I have left on the stream, or whether or not I delivered the info about BTS correctly. It's possible that all 5 of the things I'm thinking about will just be like, oh, I hate you being me. I make a mistake, and then every single voice just starts another line of just like, oh, well, you suck, and here's why everyone's gonna hate you for this. Or like, oh, that's not good, and you're probably not going to be able to fix it. In fact, let's start thinking about when the best time would have been if you could have fixed that. And then I start thinking about things that I have no control over, or part of me will just be replaying the interaction. I don't, but my mind loves replaying an interaction. Oh my God. We all replay conversations where like you wish you had said something to get like the last word or whatever, but do you think about the same conversations over and over for like 30 minutes to an hour, or sometimes over on and off for multiple days? You just play it back and you just listen to what you said and you're just like, that was so stupid. That was so bad. That was so wrong. I bet that person hates you now, even though they didn't say that or indicate outwardly in any way. So yeah, I do a lot of that. Or I try not to, but it's not easy. It's not easy. At all. Someone says several days. Yeah, several days. I'll be thinking about the same conversation. And I just like, for me, it's the rejection sensitive dysphoria thing, which we've talked about before on stream, RSD, which is not technically recognized as like one definitive thing. Nobody knows exactly what that is, but it is a set of symptoms commonly repeated or reflected by people with ADHD. And like, I don't know how to explain this in a way that doesn't sound dramatic, but the thing in me that other people feel as embarrassment, for me, it's just telling me like, I would just rather be dead. Again, embarrassment. We all experience that. You know what it's like to be embarrassed about something, right? And you might even know what it's like to be embarrassed about something to the point where you feel you want to just disappear. I think the thing for me is that reaction is completely broken. So if I even get a whiff of I might have done something slightly embarrassing, I instantly go to, well, I would rather be dead. It's very tricky. Like there's times in my life where I've been so embarrassed because I was wrong and I was sad and I was disappointed in myself. But it's like, I could literally like make a weird face or like flub someone's name accidentally to their face and they don't even care. They literally forget about it. And I just walk away from that interaction just like hoping to God that I would just be struck down, because I literally cannot sit. I can't sit with this level of discomfort right now. There's no difference. There's literally no difference. There's no difference. It doesn't matter if I did something truly heinous that is unforgivable, or if I accidentally did something that someone forgets about in 5 seconds. It just makes me want to disappear forever. So yeah, spiraling with ADHD, not super fun, not cute. What I have to do in order to just not walk around like a loose cannon is basically I've just learned to defer a lot of my reactions. I put them in what I just call the box. And so, yeah, I might feel that really strong embarrassment, but I'll put it in the box. And I'll be like, okay, we'll worry about that later. And then when I get home, that's when I can have a cute little meltdown or whatever. Oh my God. I'm still embarrassed about things that I did like 10 years ago that don't matter. I'm embarrassed about things that I said when I was 6. I'm embarrassed about the way I've interacted with people who don't remember me. I'm embarrassed about situations that I don't even remember. I just remember how I felt in that moment, because it's always the same thing. I just think my ADHD for me, I just go in circles. It's all the time. That's what my life has been like. And on bad days, it makes me really upset. On good days, I'm just like, well, at least I know what to expect and how to navigate this. But yeah, I live my life in circles, just constantly spinning around and always winding back up at square one when I was 4. And I first got an inkling of like, hey, I think I'm broken. But that's okay. That's okay, baby. We push through that and we worry about our actions. You can't control your thought, but you can control your reactions, obviously. And I have a much stronger grip on my reaction. All that emotional dysregulation that I used to feel, I still do, but I'm better at letting it not ruin my life. Yay. Oh my God. It really be like that. Someone says the mind can be such a prison. It can, but it's like, I'm going to try to make it a penthouse at the very least. I'm going to try to decorate it. I'm going to put some posters up because I'm never escaping. So may as well be a nice place, I guess. Order some furniture, IKEA, you know, shape it up, bro. My God. Someone says why I tell myself with OCD. Yeah, I can't even imagine what that's like, but I can guess. I can certainly guess. Oh man. Someone says I'm only like that with PTSD, otherwise my melts are too garbage to even remember them after a day or so. Yeah, I won't say I wish. I don't wish that, but I'm like, it would be nice to just randomly forget these things for sure. But no, like none of this is fun for anybody, no matter how it's manifesting. So we just all do our best to have whatever fun we can. That's what I want. I want to have as much fun as I can. I say all these things and it might sound like, I don't know, dark or depressing or whatever, but like, well, what do you want me to do about that? That's how I feel nowadays at my own brain. Nowadays when my own brain is trying to be depressive or like triggering or whatever, I just stand back and I'm just like, okay, and what would you like me to do about that? Quickly. And then it's like, oh, the answer is nothing. Okay, and then I move on. It's a lot easier, even though that might sound sad. No, it's happy. That's freedom. That's freedom for me, is experiencing something embarrassing, depressing, dark, or that causes me a meltdown, and just being like, okay, womp womp, move on with my life. And yeah, I can only take so much responsibility. I'll take them for my actions, not for my actual brain. Because that joint, brother, I never signed up for this. I really didn't. It's so stupid. Someone says CPTSD X BPD X ADHD is awful combo. I can imagine. I have two of those things, and they're certainly not one of the fun and cute combos. So it's a no for me. Someone said I have the ADHD CPTSD OCD combo. Yeah, it's them comorbidities that be getting you. Just at the end of the day, it's gonna get you. If it's not one thing, it's another. But we keep going. That's the thing. I can't explain this sharply enough. We gonna keep going though. I'm so stubborn in my desire to wring as much happiness out of this worthless life, really, that I can. I actually take great joy in just how strongly I refuse. I'm literally like a cockroach. I'm just like, I'm not going to let this ruin my experience, even though it does a lot. But at the end of the day, I'm going to have the last laugh. And if I get to my actual deathbed or something, and I'm just laying there thinking about all the times I've had that were bad or whatever, you know what the very last thing I'm going to do is, just the very last thought before I cross that divide, I'm going to belt out the chorus of Simple and Clean by Utada Hikaru. And then I'm just going to laugh and be like, in the end, I still had as much fun as I could. I guess I won. But yeah, that's kind of all I had to say about that. I have no idea why I started talking about that. It just be like that sometimes. Every now and then, it really do. Someone said, we stay winning. We stay winning. Someone said, it's my depression and I pick the music. Exactly. Exactly. At least I have the aux cord at the end of the day. And I'll take it. Truly. Anyways, I got some work to do. I'm starting to get cold feet. I'm starting to get cold feet about the BTS video. I'm probably going to put it up. I'm probably definitely going to put it up tomorrow. I just need to, I think I'm going to edit it and then I'm going to sleep on it and watch it back to make sure. Bro, I don't know how to explain this. If I want like an internet controversy in my life, which I don't want it to be because of BTS. That's actually going to piss me off if the next time I make some sort of massive mistake or something, or it's a bad call. It's because I was literally talking about everybody's favorite K-pop group. I'm going to be like, there's no way my self-report was a BTS video when I don't even listen to them. But no, I think I did it okay. I think I did fine. It's all right. Snarger's finna have a fit, but they always do, and we just keep going one video at a time. We really, really do. Reading chat. Someone says we can't even protect you, but we could try. Don't even try. I'm being so for real right now. Honestly, don't. And I actually mean that. Genuinely. If you, in fact, don't tell anyone I said this, but I'm going to tell you a secret right now. I'm going to tell you a secret. I am not going to read the comments on tomorrow's video. I'm not going to do it. As much as I love the community aspect of that. I mean, I don't read all of my comments. Obviously, I don't have time to do that, or I would be reading them right now. I'm not going to open it. I'm not opening the comment section. Say what you will. I'm not open to whatever feedback is happening tomorrow. So don't worry at all about anything that happens in that comment section, because I won't be worrying about it either. The end. Bye, everybody, and thank you so much. I appreciate it, and nothing should be this serious. I mean, it's not really. It's just some comments online. We're gonna be all right. Peace out. Catch you soon.